Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, everybody. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the public hearing and regular board meeting, which was held on July 9th, 2024?
So moved. Second.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I get a motion to approve the financial statements for the month of July 2024?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we have a few guests tonight. First up is Chris Roberts. You have 5 minutes, please.
Yes, I'm just really confused why the town attorney is spending so much time billing the town for hours talking to Verizon and Tarpon Towers and having conferences with them and meetings and stuff like that, when the decisions were already made. Can anybody explain that to me? And then now also, he bills every 3 months. He billed on March 31st, and then now all of a sudden, should have been billed at the end of June, and there's still no invoice. A lawyer that doesn't want to get paid. That's really odd. Come on, team, come on, a lawyer that doesn't want to get paid. You know, and then maybe you should take a look at, well, you haven't gotten it yet because there's nobody to serve here, the motion to stay. And just go through the affidavit and look at the timeline and look how it just doesn't line up. There's something really wrong here. You know, I've never met somebody as unprofessional as your lawyer, okay? He's the most unprofessional lawyer that I've dealt with yet. He's blocked me from his email. You know what I sent him? I sent him a email stating, hey, I can send you this thing. I know you're out of town. It was a pleading. It was a verified petition. I was just trying to give him courtesy of it, trying to get it to him, and that wouldn't be proper service, just so we'd have it ahead of time. You know, so he was coming back from it. Instantly blocked me. Then he's got Mike blocking me now.
He most certainly didn't have me blocked.
I
blocked you on my own.
Mike,
And then
Mike,
I
this is my
unblocked
5
you.
minutes, Mike. Thank
Don't
you.
throw my name in it.
Mike, you blocked me, and I'm speaking, and I don't want to be interrupted again. Okay? There's something wrong going on here. These are public records, okay? You're public officials, you're servants to the public, okay? We have every right to these documents. You've created another lawsuit that you're gonna lose, and you're gonna have to pay me costs, you're gonna have to pay me for my time. You understand this, Kevin? Why is this going on? Somebody made that decision, and I know the town supervisor, he doesn't run the town, Kevin. You run the town. Who made that decision about the cell tower?
How did you arrive that I run town?
Mr. Fay, I'm speaking, thank you. Where's my time, Mike? I don't want to be over.
We'll give you a few extra seconds for my interruption. You got 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, Mike. All I know is that decision should have never been passed. And it was outside the board that that decision came in. So who made it? Was it just Anthony Hollick? Then why is he still your lawyer? You should be suing him right now for damages. What do you think's gonna happen when we get all done with this? Whether the tower goes up or not, there's gonna be a lawsuit, okay, for wasting my time. You're gonna lose. You can't beat me on the merits. You can't beat me on the merits. I wrote to you before, I explained it all to you, I gave it to the boards, and you ignored me. You've created this whole situation. And we're just starting. Have a great day.
Craig Loomis?
I don't, just, I don't know what I was thinking. About the flooding on United Street between my house house, Glenn's house, Greg's house, and Marty Gus's house. It's just, it's a concerning how we get the floods, but the drain can only take so much, and you take the drains off, and all the sticks and debris will go under and maybe get clogged in the under drain under my driveway. But, I was also concerned of, there's like 4 inches of water over the road. And I've sat on my porch and watched people go about 80 miles per hour down this road. Every day, every night. I just don't wanna see someone hit that water at night or whatever and hydroplane and hit something, or God forbid, hit somebody. But, I was just, something kinda gotta get done there, cause it's just, the flood is unreal. It's just, I got pictures on the phone, videos, and, but, I don't know what else. I just don't wanna,
Greg, I'll hand out some pictures, because this was actually on my agenda, Michelle. We're gonna talk about this, I'm gonna have my agenda, these are some photos. This is the last storm we had there Friday.
Can I also change the laptop before my
Yeah.
time starts?
Yeah, I guess. I
There's-
don't see a problem with that.
This one goes on for Michelle, this is for you. This is the volume of water that's going over the road in that location. We have, I spoke to Tony. The problem for this water is it's starting on private property, which has culvert pipe. The system is supposed to be underground completely from 3047 Oneida Street, right through Marty Gus's at 3061, across underneath Oneida Street, and through Loomis's property. And then it would go out to the ravine.
I was just wondering if.
As time's gone on, Bill Hughes' property, 3047, has been eroded, silted in, the end of the culvert is completely covered up. He has no interest in opening the culvert pipe up, paying somebody a contract or anything. So it surpasses Bill's property, and it runs onto Marty Gus's property.
I already did, and so if you just hit it, that way you'll see them all.
Marty Gus's property has 2 catch
Yep, yep,
basins on it,
just
one at a wood line along
This
the
one.
adjoining property of Bill Hughes' property. There's one there, and then there's one on our right of way at Oneida Street.
I was just wondering if you guys can like make another catch basin right in front of the telephone pole that's directly across the street from my house and Glenn's. There's like a gully. And that's where all the water goes from my driveway in. Make a ditch to the end of there, under the road, the water will go down.
I believe that the process is probably going to start with Marty Gus and Bill Hugh, who have culvert system on the property that is just not being maintained. I believe we're gonna have to contact them, reach out to them by mail, and they're gonna have to, because it's already a system that's in place.
What
It's
is
not
that
fun. Bill Hugh,
Oh.
he's the neighbor
The neighbor
next
with
to
the
Marty
boat
Gus,
that brings up.
heading south.
Flood. Okay.
And his property has all the debris and everything that's coming over to the catch basin and covering up the catch basin.
Did you see the pictures of the catch basin when they take it off, all the sticks and stuff?
Yeah.
Drain in there, when you're talking about.
I'm Vanessa Griffiths, I live next door to Craig. Marty does an okay job trying to keep that catch basin clean, but it does not always happen. And then it floods our yard, and that catch basin goes underneath the road through Greg's and my property. And over the years, the water that's in that, storm drain creek has widened in my backyard because of the amount of flow that is happening.
So who's responsible for the catch basin?
The one at the road is our catch basin, that's within our right of way we maintain. We get the storms, we're down there, we actually remove the catch basin because of the debris that's coming, we lift the catch basin. because you can't, it's off the road and it's underwater. The firemen have been there, they've gone out there trying to poke around with sticks and stuff, and it's just, number one, it's dangerous, and two, the volume of material that's on top of it. It's easier to remove the basin and let the water flow. And as soon as we remove the basin, we start to control the water a little bit, but the water is spread out so wide on their property now, it doesn't all come to the basin. It comes off multiple locations of their property, and you can't contain it all at the road. And so a lot of it goes down Marty Gus's lawn, her front lawn, and then it goes across the road in a different location.
Into my side yard.
And how many years has this been going on?
When was that July storm? About 6 years ago, 8 years ago, something
I
like
know
that?
that there was something big around it,
Yeah.
4th of July, and then wasn't there like something around a Halloween
And then it was
too?
the next one was the Halloween, and then this one.
Yeah.
Those have been
Okay.
the significant,
Significant ones? So this has been going on for years,
a few,
yeah.
shortly after we moved in.
When we get a significant storm and it carries debris and plugs the grate, we have the issues.
So has there been like any studies as what to do, how to fix this? What do you do to fix this? 'Cause
The
it
first
needs to be
step is
fixed.
it's on private property. We only manage it when it gets to our right of way.
And there's nothing that can be done, anywhere else that can fix this? Like, I mean,
If Bill LaHue, before his pipes became completely covered up, the stream actually entered the culvert pipe on Bill LaHue's property. That was, and Greg's brother owned property next to that, and at one point, I think your brother had it maintained.
We did.
Clean.
We had a contractor come in and clean that out to make sure, to try to mitigate what the problem was. The problem is starting with Bill. Jim, I've watched you pull pesticide containers, gas containers out of the middle of the road. I live a number of houses down at 3084 Oneida Street. My whole driveway is one muddy river. My whole front yard is one muddy river. I have mud and silt all in my basement. I've replaced a water heater, 2 deep freezers, all because of where this problem starts.
so
The
people
gentleman.
are putting stuff in?
No, this is all off his property, but the problem with this gentleman is that he won't maintain that pipe. When that pipe gets plugged, everything overruns it, comes through the fence, goes over the next side, and like how Jim had explained, it overtakes, plugs that first catch basin, and then the second one, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of gallons of water coming through there. And that pipe is just not taking it, it's just too much. It needs to get headed off well before it. The problem with this gentleman has 2 tractors there with backhoes. He's not even hand digging it, but he refuses to maintain his property, which is now causing the rest of us problems. Money
And
to
Marty
fix,
Gus,
time to
Marty
fix.
Gus's catch basin was the second line defense on her property, so if it surpassed Bill's, it would go through the hedgerow, and Marty has another one there. There's so much debris and everything, it's completely covered up Marty Gus's, she cannot physically take care of the one on her property, so everything is now coming to the road. And-
Jim, do we have any legal relief in a situation like this?
I think, as I understand what Jim has described, it's not, unfortunately, not uncommon in central New York. It needs to start with the owner of the private system and seeking some redress against him. We cannot go on private property and maintain, it's actually prohibited. The landowners also have a private cause of action under the law because it's impermissible to alter your property and drain on somebody else's property. I'm not suggesting you need to go that way, I'm just saying that I think the superintendent has correctly stated we need to look at taking some action with the private property owner. It may be a matter of code enforcement. I don't have enough information in front of me to say that, but that's my inkling at this point in time.
Is there some way of bypassing him since he isn't going to do it and just
That's what it's
fixing the
doing now, that's
situation?
what's causing the problem.
But I mean, is there something that the town of Paris can do, put something in somewhere on our property? On something that is public property that can,
No,
Cut it off
because
before
the
it
actual flow of the creek and stuff originates in his backyard. It originates in his backyard, and and when it's supposed to enter the culvert, then it goes diagonally across Marty Gus's property, and ultimately would hit the catch basin that we have next to the road. It passes through that and underneath the White Street.
Has anybody approached him to see if we could clean it out for him twice a year or whatever it takes?
We can't just go in there and clean it out for him.
Even if he says,
Does he own the piping under there, or does the town of Paris?
he's getting rid of
You
way,
could get it right away, yeah.
that's what I thought, right
The
away.
town of Paris only owns the right-of-way pipe. We have a catch basin. The catch basin separates the private property owner's pipe and the town's responsibility.
The other question I had is, what about an engineering study that shows where the genesis of the problem is? Has that been done, was it done initially, or did we just put those culverts in and those catch basins in on a local plan to try to resolve the issue? If there wasn't a full-fledged engineering study on that water genesis from the beginning, that actually would trace it over a period of time with a 99-year flood process, then you don't really know if you're catching it in the right place, no pun intended there.
When United Street was turned over to the town, it used to be a state road. United Street was turned over to the town, so I would imagine there's been studies on it. And years ago, we had a study done when the property that Mr. Loomis had, there was a crushed pipe on that side of the road that backed the water up on United Street at the time. And Don Eric, who was our engineer at that time, did the study, and then to find out where it originates and everything. We do have that information.
You sound like you're frustrated because you're kind of caught, and there's not much that you can do. But with an engineering study, yes, it's gonna cost some money, but at least it's gonna say, this is what it would cost, and these are the resources that we would need to put together as far as right-of-way or access or whatever, and insurance, whatever is needed in order to move forward to prevent this thing, possibly in the future, based on the cost, because the cost may be outrageous, and maybe there's no real solution even with an engineering study, but at least you would know you've done everything you could if you have someone professional look at it.
Well, I feel our codes department has to step in. We have to put letters out to these people and give them the option, because the ultimate thing would be the town would have to do something and put the cost against the property. And it would stay on the property until it was paid.
Do we have an
That's not gonna
engineer
happen.
in the
Don
codes
Ayers-
department?
Don Ayers is the town engineer.
Okay. And that's something
And
that
he's
he
done
can
this
do,
stuff.
that's in his scope of,
Don has done it. Don
He
did
has.
the study probably, I don't know, it was probably 8 years ago when the study was first done.
How big
Don
an issue
has-
would it be to clean this up, John?
It's, because it's
Permission
multiple
to-
properties, it's kind of an issue. And we don't know how much of the pipe, because now that the pipe's been silted in for years, we don't know how much of the pipe on Bill Hughes' property is actually probably useless.
I made a statement that between Cards and my house, the road, the slope of my yard is eroding so drastically from these storms, it's eventually going to erode the road. And that I see as the problem. Could that be a catalyst to say, we need to take steps towards looking into his property?
Can't
Well, it
you
doesn't
invoke,
allow us to do anything on his property. We have the right to maintain the right of way, so if there's erosion on your property, we would maintain that. That's our right of way. That is our right of way still.
can't
That's
you
my
invoke,
fear, is that with that amount of erosion, they are doing more than 40 miles an hour in front of my house. And even with the storm drainage problem this week, at the rate they were going at, I was afraid somebody was gonna hydroplane right into my front yard or worse, my house, because they were going easily 50 or more miles an hour. And like I said, with that, it's eroding the side enough that we will have a road issue problem, would be the next thing that an engineer is gonna need to look at, is that portion of Oneida Street between my property and Craig's that's gonna be gone.
can you invoke eminent domain to fix the problem?
If it affects the community.
Because it's affecting multiple houses and it's affecting the safety of the roadway and the community, so why couldn't you do eminent domain?
that's.
Eminent
sounds like
domains
a-
reserved for public purposes. I haven't had it come up in this context, we've done the takings for widening.
I would think it would be public safety if it's affecting a roadway.
It's going to eventually,
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
within the
I mean,
next.
but it covers there, I've been on Oneida Street before when the water comes up quickly, and it was, I mean, I didn't know that we were gonna get across, and my children were little then, and it was scary.
This happens within minutes.
Yes,
This is-
absolutely.
This isn't a 3-hour, 4-hour longevity thing. This is, I called Jim because my father, who I had, because this has been an ongoing problem, and I knew we were gonna get heavy rains. I asked my father, hey, can you come up and just keep an eye on the road, keep an eye on the basement, make sure I'm not gonna, if it starts to take on water, start getting the mop going, or the squeegee downs. I called Jim within 10 minutes from him calling me, and by the time I got up there, and the whole road was overrun.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a problem that's progressively gotten worse, and I used to work for Jim, I've watched this for years. And I knew where it started, and I've lived there for a number of years now, and I've watched how much quicker and how much more intense this water gets in a very, very short amount of time.
Absolutely.
On
Could be
top of,
life-threatening.
I mean, well, at this point, you know, I have a little one at home who's got medical needs, and unfortunately, there's, that rush of water coming in does cause problems downstairs between electricals and appliances and everything else. And now, you know, and I'm getting called, now I gotta leave immediately half a day because the water comes up so fast that it needs to get taken care of right then and there.
Mhm.
So that's why we're here, is we're asking, please do something. This is getting so bad now that it's gonna cost either somebody injury or a substantial amount of money for structural damage.
What's our next step?
Our codes lady is the next step. We get Gina involved, and she's letting us out to these people for their property, for the maintenance of their property. And I don't have, Tony would have to tell us what time frame we would have to give them for this, to see if they're gonna respond to this.
Can we simultaneously get our engineer to take a look at this and get like maybe an updated study, because you said that was about 8 years ago, and they said that it's been like 6 years since the problem's going on, so maybe
Well, Gina would probably
get him involved.
once she looks at it and.
Part of the process, Don would be involved.
And can we also take a look into eminent domain, just in case that's an issue?
We could, I would say that's probably the last resort. I
But
could-
at least if we started looking at it. then we
I could
know where
research it,
we could go with.
give you a
Okay.
cost estimate of appraisals and engineering and court costs to get it going.
Yeah, I guess that's a plan.
It's a start.
Does anybody else have
Because
any other
with
thoughts?
it starting on private property, unless we dig a ditch along the whole property of Gus's within our right of way to funnel all the water to stop it from trying to get across the road, that's the only other option we have.
Would that work?
I'm not gonna say it's gonna work.
The engineer
I can't
could-
tell you 100% that that's gonna work. The problem you have is the grade of the lawn does not slope all of the water to the catch basin. Some of the water just goes across their front lawn and enters the road 100 feet down, and it comes around their house in multiple locations.
It causes rivulets on both sides of my house to come down. We get probably about 2 to 3 major passages of water that is trying to circumvent going down into the runoff drain in the backyard. It comes down through, it carries, like you said, multiple levels of debris. We've had a tire come down the first time. This time we had 3 different containers. One was a gas can, one was an antifreeze container. It brings tons of stuff, and then it just continues down further. But I think it's more than just the catch basin, the 2 storm drains on Mrs. Gus's side of Oneida Street at our location. It just comes so quickly, it cannot get through those. It ends up flowing down into, like I said, into my yard, which overflows into creek portion, or whatever you might want to call it, storm runoff, and ends up flowing massively downstream from there, as well as down the road itself. So we've got multiple problems with it. It's okay. Something we're learning to do.
And you also have an apartment in your garage or whatever there too, right, that gets flooded out when this happens?
The owners prior to us built the garage, as a live-in portion garage. It's basically just our catch-all area, but yes, we had to have,
But it's your
everyone come in.
property.
It is my
Still
property,
destroyed.
yes, and we had to have
Living
sandbags
space.
come in because it flows so strongly and sits right there at my, garage door that it will start to, it trickled in this time. Last time it happened. But this time it did trickle in.
It almost needs another catch base right across from that ravine.
Somewhere.
On Marty's lawn.
Yeah. Under the road and it feeds it into those.
The only problem is, I mean, just from going down there with the fire department, the problem really isn't the infrastructure, or the problem is when all the debris comes down and covers up the top of those grates that's running off of his property, cause like Jim says, he doesn't maintain it. Before, when these pipes were open, it didn't cross the, I mean, once in the 25 years I've been working for the town, prior to him not maintaining these pipes. And I think the once was before they found that pipe was crushed across the road. But it never used to do that. It would always find its way up there where Jim's talking, and it would make its way down through that 30-inch, or it is 30, correct? 36 culvert across your driveway, and nobody would see a thing. But ever since that up top, and there's no way to corral it because everybody's property goes this way. So the water's running here, it's running there to the catch basin, but then it's running around here into your house. You know, that's the problem, that it needs to be maintained above. It's not the infrastructure there, because it, like I said, I've been here 25 years and it's been holding it. But now that the beginning of the process is closed.
Yeah, the
Oh,
storms
certainly.
years ago are not the storms now.
Certainly.
But the thing is when my husband and I took these pictures of the basin, is that what you call it, across the street at Marty's, when we came up through at noon, we took a picture, there was no debris on that. It was just going in. When he came home from his work, he works 3:30, gets home, it was full of, oh no, he took it from his camera, that's right, and it was full of sticks and stuff after that. But like, from that Mr. Hughes, it comes in like 4 different places onto Marty's lawn, and then it floods Marty's lawn and goes into that catch basin. It goes under the road into his driveway, there's another drain. And then from his driveway, there's a big, huge creek that goes underground all the way to that, what's the other, ravine?
Yeah.
To a ravine. And when it's coming out of that pipe under his driveway and across his front lawn, it sounds like a waterfall, a powerful, powerful waterfall going in that ravine.
Could the town board make a motion to at least have the engineer do a preliminary study to find out if they need a full study on that?
Leslie,
I think we can reach out to Don Air and ask him for the previous study that he did. And if he feels that we need to do another study. There's been no development above that would change the course of this or the intensity of this as far as Butler Road or anything that was up there. It's all agricultural property with no improvements. There's been no site development or anything on the uphill side of this.
Can you get in contact with him like tomorrow? I mean, is he in the office all the time?
Fred has a picture from his drain across the street to Marty's drain, and there's a crack from his drain in his driveway, all the way, all the way across the street to that, so water's gonna be going in there. He's got a picture of it.
I have a picture of the water in front of our house as well, this recently. It was going 2 different directions on either side of the road. And then, my husband called the fire department, he said it was called 911, anyway, calling them, like, said it's not a true emergency, but we need, and I don't think we got them, how to get there in time to pull that grate. I don't think we would have had as much success this storm as we did. We were fairly grateful and lucky.
And Marty Gus's an older lady
Is being close when they have
and
to break
your
down.
husband has medical issues,
My
bad.
husband has major medical issues, and he cannot do the work to maintain it. He doesn't want it.
It's just, something's
I
gotta be
mean,
done.
that literally is on this road. This must have been like 80 or 90. I was thinking I was looking at the area on top of the top. It was wet. It was like hitting into my car. It was up so high you could feel it rock. And I was driving like a Chevy Suburban at the time, like it was a big one.
Right?
So you're gonna contact Gina also, right?
Yeah.
Gina and
When Craig got that house 2 years ago, we had extensive work done out front by Scott Evans. And when they fixed the pipe a long time ago underneath his property,
I know.
the one was tapered towards his house. So Scott said, we have to peel this whole thing up and get it away from the house. And he's got a little pump so that he's down in those, you know, it's not in the pipe, but, and, I can't remember if it's Scott or Dakar who was doing work on Craig's house. They said it drained in Craig's driveway, but it needs to, it's not in there properly. Something about, because when the water comes down,
Drains,
but when
that's all
the,
they changed is the pipe out of it.
when the water comes down, part of it comes down and forms a big puddle, big on his driveway. And he put a drain, we had a brand new, Scott Evans put a brand new, tile drain, I think they call it, right underneath at the bottom. He put one in, and then Fred put one in for his, if water comes down his driveway, it goes in that and then goes out. So, but I mean, it's getting worse, like, because the storms are getting worse. It doesn't matter if it's a fire, a flood, a hurricane, a tornado, everything is getting worse. And, you know, I mean, who has money for the flood insurance? You know, I mean, it just needs to be addressed. I don't know if there needs to be a whole ditch, in front of Marty's property, and then underneath the road, right to the culvert, or whatever you want, the spillway. But, I mean, you know, Marty can't go out there and weed whack if there's a ditch. She would have to have that covered because she is an older lady. I mean, she used to sub years ago up at school with me in the nurse's office, and her husband was just died, what, maybe 2-3 years ago. Not even last year.
She's in her 80s.
Yeah. And
First, that will be Gina, because 2 out of the 3 locations for water after are blocked. Until they're opened up, you don't know if you need to fix the system or rebuild the system, we're just guessing here.
How far
Right,
out?
so if they do something, if they don't fix the guy at the top, it's not, it doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah, if you don't fix where it starts,
Right.
nothing else matters.
Exactly. Where does it actually start? Does it start on Mr. Hughes' property?
Yeah, up in his backyard.
It starts right there. It doesn't start up farther
No,
by
that's where the
Butler.
end of the pipes are, up behind his house, right?
Oh, yeah, that creek runs right, my brother lives right next to it. His yard, there's no standing water back there.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about where it starts, there's zero, because I go up and check the property, and there's nothing back there that causes
And that,
issue.
and
It
that,
starts right at Billy's property,
And
and I
it's
think,
not destroyed behind your brother's, it's not.
and that guy knows it's gonna
That's
flood
The water
because
needs
as
to be
you saw,
properly channeled
he
back
moved
into
the
the
boat
pipe
up
that's
to higher
supposed to
ground.
go
Because
in.
if you look at his lawn, it goes down. That he knows it's gonna flood, so he moves his boat up to higher ground. So he knows it.
we're here, and I think for everybody's kind of saying, we've had enough of it, it's causing us money, and it's causing damage to our homes, and we need your help. We need somebody to do something about this.
Well, we'll work on it. We'll get at it. Thank you for coming. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's important to get this information. So,
We'll let Gina know, and, yeah, me and Jimmy will let Gina know, and we'll make sure that Donner gets involved and all that, so.
And maybe by next meeting, we have something.
We'll have something
concrete,
to say.
At least a direction if we're going in and.
I'm sure somebody will at least have a look and start that, so yeah. I can't speak for Don, I don't know what his schedule is, but I'm sure we'll do what we can.
Okay.
And I know Don already had, he did the preliminary study for us years ago. I'm sure he could do the he's gonna follow the path. There's nothing new along this portion of, where this stems from. Construction wise, they could have altered it. The biggest thing is where it's supposed to enter the system. It's breached it. It's going around it in multiple places, and it's probably 60 to 80 feet wide where it now enters Gus's property, where it should have been channelized through a culvert pipe. Now you're trying to get it all to come back to one spot to go underneath with one single road culvert pipe. That doesn't work. It's already past that. It's already down the road beyond the culvert pipe, cross pipe.
Did he own that property since you had the pipe there, or did someone else own the property when the
He's
pipe?
on the property.
So he never gave permission for you to go on the land?
We don't get permission to go on the property. We can't just go
Because I
on
think we
somebody's
have
property.
permission to go on Christ's property.
We have an easement on that
Yes.
property.
Yeah.
Because when it was repaired, there's no easement on the other properties. So we cannot enter that.
Can you get it easement? Could you ask for one?
Be more of eminent domain, wouldn't it?
Well, it's more than just the easement, because we're in the catch basin.
We would own it.
No, we would have to own it. We would maintain it.
Anything that's.
So he put in the catch basin himself, or did he?
It's just a culvert pipe. It's the start of the system. It's a culvert pipe on his property. It starts the system, and then the culvert pipe under Marty Gus's lawn, it goes to the town culvert pipe that goes under the road.
Who installed that?
But the culvert pipe was owned by the town, correct? No?
The town never culvert pipe that Marty Gus did that.
It's the
We
only
have
piping.
we have a pipe at the road in the road.
That's the only part of the tunnels under the roadway where it spits out onto my property, but nothing further. So all the storm runoff is my property, everything, Marty Gus's, and, I'm sorry, the hay, you said?
Look you.
With you. That's all our private properties, so anything happening on those properties, the town has no say in like fixing, helping, assisting, other than maybe coming and talking to us and saying, hey, can you help us out and fixing this so that further down the line, he's not doing that.
On the Brett's property, though, you own that thing in his driveway, and you own the pipe that goes across, because you guys put it in, and you got the easement for his property.
Okay, we all set?
Yep, okay, thank you for listening.
Guys, come back next month, and next month, and next month.
If it doesn't
Nobody
stop,
comes
you will.
back. Well, just, you know, keep coming
Will
back.
something be
Switch
discussed every month about what you've done so far?
Yes.
Yes.
It will, every month.
So come on
And
back.
it's every Tuesday at 5, every second Tuesday
Yes,
at 5.
Tuesday, 5.
All right.
Again, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Taylor?
I just called for my 5 minutes just to see where we were at with any potential answer for the neighbor issue. I know you said your options were limited, you were looking into it more last time, but it's progressively gotten worse. There's been signs up in her windows that I have pictures of that she's written about my family, about the family next door. She's proceeded to just call, apparently I'm an inbred, so she keeps calling me that. She decided to start yelling at my wife today for being male, calling her an inbred, so we have inbred children, so she's a shitty mom, and harassment, yeah. And when she also sits for the last 5-6 days, she sits on the porch, and probably every third word is the N-word. And obviously Rick Pizarro is probably offended by that. He said he tries to, I talked to him today, he said he tries to ignore it. He said people like that essentially want to disappoint from you to go back in the 80s, but I had the cops at my house in there today because of her way attacking my wife. Apparently, apparently there's nothing that we can do, even with the signs in the window that say the English family on it, even with her saying the English family, apparently her saying that we're inbreds and that inbreds need to be squashed and taken off the earth is not a direct enough threat. We need to take any legal action, as far as like her getting arrested. Harry did, he probably wanted to talk to the cops briefly today, tried to say that she wasn't doing anything, she was just praying. The cop was like, oh, she was saying this in a prayer, and then he just kind of dropped his head, something that was wrong. But I don't know what my next move is. I know that there's probably not much that the town can do to help us.
Just to interrupt, I did deliver, and it's
I'll send an email to you.
a memo with a checklist of questions and items, including sections of the applicable penal law, because I disagree that it should have been charged. Under a harassment or something, and they weren't. But that's, sometimes local law enforcement doesn't want to get involved with what they consider to be disputes between.
He said if she still had the picture, the signs in the window, he might have been able, but I only have pictures of the signs in the window, so.
All
Do you
day,
want the
every
audio
day.
from the weekend?
I can
Every
give you-
time we come
I
and
give
go
you
from our
audio from
house.
today where she
Oh my
was-
God!
That's
Having
raining.
mine and my wife's name prayed for, like, the cops, nobody does anything. She's out this morning bragging about how she didn't let the Puerto Rican cop on the property because she's inbred. We come and go from our house and we're called dirty, inbred, black bloods. She's spitting at people, yelling at cars. I called yesterday morning and all I was told was I need to call when she's doing it for a mental health check. If they go there, they're gonna have to tase her.
She had it in the house, but.
She does.
Yeah,
I mean,
every
Oh, it's
day.
on Oneida Street. I thought it was on
Well, I
Bayside.
drove by one morning at 6:30 and she was
Church
yelling at
already
me.
every morning at 6:30.
7:30 this morning it started.
You're probably, you guys probably know Mike and Sheila Scholl. Sheila's been, they've lived on Main Street forever. Sheila walks almost every day now. She getting a little older. She's my great aunt.
Okay.
She was walking by today and Courtney was verbally attacking her. She was verbally attacking, man, I didn't know something now. Lady used to work at the, I want to say she was a librarian. She runs every day.
Mrs. Lulak? The Lulaks?
Yes. She was, I mean, I have audio of them verbally attacking, being verbally attacked by her today too. And like I said,
Why, do people call the cops?
It's First Amendment.
They won't do
First Amendment.
anything. The cops have been there 3 or 4 times in the last 3 months.
apparently,
Sheriff, state trooper, you pick, they both come.
apparently a threat needs to be extremely direct, like, I am going to stab you.
She told me she was going to dig a tunnel underneath the road. Now, I laughed at that because, let's be real, she's not actually going to. She told me that she was going to blow my house up.
That's a direct threat.
I was a crappy mom, and no wonder my children act the way that they do because I'm a crappy mom.
Can I just, with permission?
Oh, I got videos.
Yeah,
and
how many
pictures
you
for
want?
days.
They got lots of them.
Yeah.
The board's gonna have what I submitted, but with your permission, let me reach out to the district attorney's office, just to get their position on this, because what I'm hearing should be, in my opinion, and I'm not a criminal attorney, what I'm hearing, under what I provided the board, if you read it, should be charged.
She's harassing the
It's
town.
hate
not just-
speech. There's interracial families that live next door. It's hate speech.
That in and of itself, I think, is sufficient.
First Amendment is what I got yesterday. First Amendment.
Can the town, support MCAT being called, medical crisis?
I was gonna call this morning, but I had to go to work.
And that's really
Mental
my position.
health crisis units.
I thought that the
Yeah, so across the street, there's an
law
interracial
enforcement
couple,
would be involved in
they're
this.
older couple that live
I
next to
think
Taylor.
council goals.
And on the other side, there's a
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, you guys need to.
One
She
person.
didn't come out, but she was waving her fist at us today.
Excuse me?
Okay, so, I guess we'll let this,
You'll have my pick by tomorrow. I will reach out to the district attorney by the week, by Friday, and see if I can get a pulse on why they're not taking any action, or what it's gonna take to compel them to take some action, short of somebody getting hurt.
They don't wanna deal with it. And my next move is
Well, we don't have to.
looking into suing the property owner and seeing what.
So who
But
owns
I
the
don't-
property?
Harry
One of her
Smith.
Harry
parents?
Smith.
Is it one of
It's-
her parents?
Yes.
It's her
That's
father-in-law.
Her father?
Well, she's the one, Courtney is the one who's making the main issue. It's her father-in-law's house.
So it's the guy's,
Daughter-in-law.
the
Wife.
guy's,
Yeah, the guy's daughter-in-law.
So Harry's son is married to Courtney, Nick.
so he lives there too?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's been a problem, he's been less of a problem, but I have videos of him chasing National Grid down. They were coming to mark something out, I believe at one of our houses, and she started yelling at him, and the guy in just the grid car parked on the side of the road, not even parked in front of their house, more parked in front of, Melissa and Dave's house, and the guy pulled away and went up to the church, and I have a video of Nick running down the road, screaming, calling him whatever names, so you think you're just gonna run away? Apparently, they talked it out, but just, I mean, it's nonstop.
It is, it's
I mean,
all day, every day.
Yeah, and there's nothing, I know Tamara, she, pretty good, like, a neighbor on the other side of them has videos of her. I would go on and say, we all have videos from the last 2 days, but if not, multiple of them. Oh, definitely longer.
Yeah, this has been going on since March.
And this past week has been living hell.
Yes.
Living hell.
Is there any way, I'm not trying to make any promises, that each of you can get the clerk a zip drive or something of these, so I can share these with
I can make a Dropbox and
law enforcement?
get together with everybody or something, yeah.
Mike, can you take them by email? Can you just email them to you as an attachment?
It'd probably have to be a Google Drive or something.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'll give you guys my email.
but we can
All
do
right,
it.
perfect.
And I can,
Perfect.
I'll set something up with it.
Okay. We'll try to do it.
I mean, I'm gonna spend a couple $1,000 this weekend probably putting a hedgerow in front of my house to try to.
Like, we've had a private surveyor come to survey our property, and they were out at the property line screaming at the surveyor
And they have not come back to
Yeah.
finish the survey, so I
So-
cannot put up a fence.
for our property line. Yep.
There's been no options. Nobody wants to deal with this. The cops have said she's mentally deranged. How can somebody refuse to have a cop come on their property based on the race? How is that possible? I saw it, Melissa saw it, my wife saw it, I don't know if Taylor was around that is. She kicked him off the property and he left.
He
A
set
state
it up.
trooper.
Yes, a state
I had to
trooper.
have the Puerto Rican guy
Yeah.
and another white man come to my house, and the Puerto Rican man was kicked off of their property. He sat in my driveway in his car while the white police officer had to finish taking care of the issue because he was not allowed on the property. And she never even came outside and spoke to them. I said, how is it that I called the cops on one individual and you guys went there and didn't even speak to the individual that I called on?
She wouldn't come out today, either. She went, I hid in the house.
Because that's what she does. She spews at the mouth, and then as soon as the cops come, she hides in collars.
Disappointing, but as Tony said, get rid of hold of it.
Don't forget to get your videos to Mike.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get it off you.
Someone's gonna have to.
Yeah.
This doesn't take you to make it.
It's gonna be a full.
Bad.
You're gonna have somebody in traffic, and something's gonna happen.
Someone's gonna
Give me
have
whatever you feel is pertinent.
to. Everything.
All of it.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay, thank you. All right, let's have some resolutions.
Thank you, thank you.
See you next month. Yes. We're just gonna go on to regular board meeting, so if anybody wants to leave, you guys. Just gonna go on to regular board meeting.
Something happened. It's
I have never made threat. I will not make threats.
We have some resolutions here. We have a resolution issuing negative declaration.
Hang on.
Michelle, procedurally, my records and notes show that seeker's still open. We conducted the public hearing. We closed the public hearing, but we did not close seeker.
Thought we closed seeker.
Was. Did you verify that? Please?
Yeah.
Fine.
You know what? I can, but I don't think I have it on me.
Okay, just for expediency, could we ratify then and confirm that seeker on the local law is closed? Motion to do that?
I'll make them. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would then call for the resolution issuing a negative declaration and authorizing the supervisor to sign Part 3 of the EAF, which is the determination of the negative declaration.
Yep.
I'll make that, okay, can I get a motion approving local law number 1? Is that it?
No.
Nope,
No?
we're just, it's a resolution, you're just motioning for a resolution to, issue a negative
Oh,
declaration.
okay. So
I'll make
resolution,
that motion.
Yep. Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Now I need a motion approving local law number 1.
Okay. Can I get a motion approving local law number 1 of 2024 pertaining to wind energy? That one? Yeah.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can I get a resolution approving the amendment to owner-engineer agreement for water source treatment plant to Floyd Consolidated Water District? Change order in the amount of $25,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Did you guys see in the packet that we're looking for the Parks Department to get trade-in for new Ferris mower? It's ISX 3300 mower from Clinton Tractor, and the cost is not to exceed $6,100. You guys see that in the packet?
Yeah, I saw that. What year mower is that? You know?
I think he does it every 2 years. It's
Yeah.
usually every 2 years. It's a 2-year-old mower.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's got a budget.
Yeah, the park's been doing pretty good since Carrie came on, so.
We're gonna do, we need a resolution to participate in positive pay. Mike, do you wanna talk about that?
Sure, so positive pay is just an extra set of, steps. Make sure we don't have any fraud. We had an issue with a check, somebody designed a check in basically Illinois, made a fictitious number, cashed it for almost $1,000, but luckily we're gonna get reimbursed for that, but going forward, we're gonna have an extra step of precautions through NVT, so.
There's actually been a, I hate to call it a gang, dumpster divers who are calling for checks to get routing numbers. And they are then reproducing checks. Sometimes it's an actual copy of them, other times it's just the routing number. And these things get rewritten. And the positive pay is a double verification.
Yeah.
Regularly checks are being passed. It's very extensive right now.
Yeah, a lot of extra work. Yeah, well, right now it's kind of in place. Right now we're kind of like on a hold, like they only open it when we need to actually do things. But yeah, this is a step we're gonna need to move forward.
It's gonna be a lot more work for the clerk too, or somebody, because they're gonna have to double verify.
Yeah, Kim's been verifying checks that go through just paying vendors.
Okay, I'll make a resolution to participate in the positive pay. I'll second that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Yeah, it was nothing on our end. It was literally, we seen the check. It looks kind of like one of our checks, but you can tell it's not, and the number's nowhere near. So somebody from, we have a lot of vendors actually that we pay in Illinois for some reason. like a lot of our distributors and stuff, that's where they collect their money. It's in Illinois. That's where the USA Blue lives. They're in Illinois.
So Mike, I need to make a resolution, correct, for the mower?
For the, yes.
Okay, so can I get a resolution to purchase the Ferris mower and the amount to not exceed $6,100 from Plymouth Active? Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so we have some transfers. Yeah.
Sorry.
Come on, that's
I didn't hear, I know we talked, discussed it, but I didn't hear the resolution.
Okay, for the water district, we need to transfer to cover the Butler Road pump station project. We need to transfer $103,255.27 from SW 511 appropriated reserves to SW at 8340.4 transmission and distribution contractual. Then we transfer $103,255.27 from SW 200 cash to SW 231, number 800-722-4494 to the Sequoia Water Reserve account.
That's the only transfer. That was just to cover the Butler Road project. That's pretty much done.
They'll be finishing Thursday.
We need a resolution.
Yep, just,
All right, I'll make that one.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Jimmy, what do you got? The highway department.
Stormwater, we spoke primarily on, we touched it, we got good ideas, people, but, we will proceed with down here and also Gina. And we'll go from there. We can do, in the meantime, some of the photos you see, we've picked up barriers, I'm gonna be picking up more barriers. Unfortunately, Marty Gus may not be happy, but in the event, we know there's rain coming, we're gonna line the barriers. It's a lot of work, but we gotta react. It's getting devastating to some of these homeowners. So, the future, we'll put barriers out prior to the storm. If it doesn't hit as hard as they say, then I guess everybody will be happy they won't have any. That's pretty much all we're gonna talk about for stormwater on that one. Greens Crossings Road. I don't know if anybody's been over it. You see we paved the second half from the railroad tracks to Summit Road. That's all new. We're looking to do what they call a T&L paving from the Greens Crossings Railroad tracks out to Sulphur Springs Road, which is basically repaving 3/4 of a lane. In front of everybody's homes, you can see where the deterioration is really bad. And the snow plows like picking this stuff up and putting it in lots, peeling it off. So the T&L process, I'm looking to do that this year, which will give us a plowable surface for this year without making the road any worse, and obviously not throwing this material into people's lawns. And then in the spring, we would just be doing an overlay on the road. So we're gonna basically do one part of the process this year. And I'm looking to get a resolution to approve Hanson for the T&L paving at a cost not to exceed $46,080.
We don't have to get this bid, is that?
It was, Hanson was low bid, it was Barrett, Hanson, and Gorman.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Hanson
I'll
came
second.
slow. We rebid it because the original process was for paving all of the road in its entirety, and we did not do that, so we just took this out, and that's the maintenance part of it. We redid the maintenance part of it, so we have a plowable surface for this year. And that's- We may possibly eliminate the approved Clayville paving of Foundry Road with Hanson at the prior board meeting. We may be pulling that back. It doesn't affect, I just may be holding it back. Because it doesn't sound like Clayville's gonna pave some of their roads, and I'm not gonna have a company come in to
little bit of a road repairs and everything.
We may be holding that until next year.
That's it.
Yeah. So you get,
You got the resolution already for the Greens Crossing, you're set, Jim.
so do you have an update on the parks?
No, she was gonna come, but apparently she couldn't make it.
Okay. Anything from Gina?
Yep, Gina has year-to-date 43 building permits, July 1 operating permit, also in July 5 complaint letters, and 4 fire inspections scheduled this month.
Okay,
I would like to have, I don't know if it's a motion or a resolution, probably resolution, adjusting the dog redemption fee. It's currently at $50. Since we've re-signed with Swans, their fee's up to $75 now. I would like to come up so we're not paying more for other people's dogs. So we just recoup the costs. So if I could have a resolution.
I'll make that resolution.
second?
Yep. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Joe, did we skip over you? No. For the budget officer?
Just your estimate forms for the department heads. They'll be distributed on or before August 19th, and the deadline to return those estimate forms is September 20th. Budget time is coming quick.
Tony, do you have anything?
I suggested earlier, I provided to Mike and the supervisor a memo and outline I want the board to consider. So we can talk about getting, regardless of what may happen, if we want something in place. It's really going to allow the mechanisms that the town of Paris adopts, because the town of Paris does not have its own law enforcement, like other communities who sort of implement these things. So I want you to read it, have some material, and available to discuss with anybody what their thoughts are on which direction. Anything else, the planning board, status of pending litigation in executive session.
Okay. Can I get a motion to go into executive session for legal personnel litigation?
And pending litigation, please.
And pending litigation?
I'll make that one.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
6 o'clock, we vote.
Michelle, can I own it for personnel?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Good God, that's a good one.
I was going to say, let's move on.
Can I get a motion to come out of the executive session at 6:29 p.m.?
I'll make that motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to pay the vouchers?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we get a motion to close the meeting at 6:30 p.m.
I'll make that motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.